In this episode 98 of the Encourage and Inspire podcast, today we're reunited with a familiar face to the podcast, a creative powerhouse who's been on this journey with us before, the one and only Chris Mr. Watt. Now, if you've been with us from the early days, you know Chris isn't just another guest. He's a storyteller, a visionary who understands that creativity isn't just about making something, it's about making something that matters. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the heart of what it means to be a creator in a world that's constantly changing. We're talking about purpose, passion, and how to stay authentic when everything around you is screaming for attention. Chris has been through the trenches. He's seen the industry shift, watched trends come and go, but he's remained committed to his craft. And today he's here to share those hard earned lessons that can transform not just your creative process, but your entire approach to life. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or someone just searching for your path, this conversation is going to light a fire inside you. So buckle up, get ready to be inspired, and let's dive in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Encourage and Inspire podcast. This is episode number 98, and we got a repeat guest. He's been on the podcast before, early in the early days of the pod. My man, Mr. Watt, Chris Watt in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on? We're gonna spin the block.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I was getting ready to start my series calling it Spin the Block on the podcast from the COVID days. Feel like an old man saying that.
Yeah.
But I
See,
I, I do want to catch up with people,
right.
after we went through all of that and see where we at today.
Facts. Yeah, man. I think you were like episode 4 or 5, like early on in the
Single
pod.
digits.
Yeah, I think
About
so.
to hit
Okay.
triple digits. That's
Right.
what's up, man. Celebrate that.
Yes, sir,
Big
man.
time.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, bro, but like you said, welcome back, man, by way of Chicago, but living in Ohio. You in Ohio now?
Yeah, I'm still in Cincinnati.
Yes, sir.
Raising my children.
Yes, sir, man. And we are, it was a couple of months, no, a couple of weeks from Hall of Fame at Full Sail University.
Yeah,
You know.
we're about a month away. Like it was a month ago. Like this
Oh,
week.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
today's the
Okay.
12th. It was the 9th through the 14th.
Right. Yes. Yeah, man. What a great time. What a great time
Yeah.
as we have every time. I mean, every time I go, like I always have a great time each year for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they did a lot for alumni that I hadn't seen before, like with our own, alcove, and it was geared towards everybody throughout the tenure or time attached to them. Versus it being student centric. It's nothing wrong with it being student centric because we've been there, done that, right? At this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
but it was nice to see that part to where they had plenty of stuff for us to do and get in where we fit in on.
No facts, man. Facts. I like that they did that, man. Yeah, because I mean, when they were inviting guests back, alumni back, because that wasn't always the case in the Hall of
Right.
Fame. I know when I graduated in 2015, they wasn't necessarily always invite. I think they started inviting alumni back around like 2018, 2017, or 2017, 2018. I think is when they started inviting like alumni back, but that was still more of like you could come, but really the panels were like you said, current student centric versus you know
Yeah, and
alumni.
I got to go before I graduated, so
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
experience
I've been to
was
several of them. You know, before you, like at least a couple before I
yeah. So you had a couple before you graduated, then the rest have been post your success. And I would say it's fairly easy because you right around the way.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember like when I started my first month, I think it was Hall of Fame 4.
Oh wow.
So that was like Marcella, Chance Glasgow, and whoever else, Joy Morelli, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, great group. But
Did you know it was Hall of Fame then, like when you first started? I couldn't imagine being
no,
a
I
student
don't
when
think
it
I did. I think
started.
I just started, man. Like, yeah, I don't think I knew. I don't think they told us when we started that like when I my month that I started because back then it was they had Hall of Fame in February,
Oh, okay, got you.
you know. So
And then that's that was single digit days, right? Now
mhm,
we just passed 15. That was
mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. Wow, yeah,
A lot of people.
for sure, man. That was just
I
like
had a question. You
go
might
ahead,
have an answer to this. I was saving this one.
go
How
ahead.
many people in the Hall of Fame that have made it to the Hall of Fame in Full Sail were online students? I don't think they have any. I think
I don't think
everybody
that.
was on campus.
Yeah, I don't think they have any that were actually online. You know, to be
Yeah.
that's a good question. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
that eventually it's gonna have to be somebody.
Yeah,
If it's not, like that'll be
yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
it still matters, right? I know they don't
Hmm.
have that same tie with you, so to speak, because they don't pass you in the hallway.
Hmm.
But staying active in this digital world that we're living in now, like pivoting to what you do globally, right? Like that's a digital connection. So
Yeah.
for real, I'm thinking about, yo, I'd like to make that a thing
No, for
if
sure,
I can do
for
well
sure.
enough, just
No,
to
no,
show that program is successful as well. Because not a lot of online programs people turn out to have, these tremendous stories of success from.
facts.
But I think that they do a good job at facilitating what they can in that moment to help you at least stay motivated.
Right, right.
You
Cause
know,
it's hard. It's definitely hard, man. And
yeah,
then and obviously, and they do that. They invite you. Cause I know you've been the featured panelist on a few of the virtual you call it the virtual meetups or whatever.
yeah. Just one, honestly. I just
Oh,
go to
okay,
all of them.
got
Yeah,
you,
just
got you.
one. But the Midwest representing for for that.
Cool,
I go
man.
to all of them because that's we in the middle of nowhere. It's
Right,
difficult
right,
to get out and do some things and rub elbows and network with people when you're in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
right, right. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there aren't many. Probably where you're located, probably not many entertainment opportunities for
Right.
creative minds. You know.
Hmm. And the opportunities that's there for the most part, they're already assigned, so to speak.
Right.
We don't gatekeep, whatever you want to call it, but they're kind of assigned. And you got to know somebody to get in, and they're still few and far between. It's not like, you know, when it's 10 degrees outside, ain't nobody shooting stuff here.
Nah,
We
nah.
had a winter that was like average every day was like 19 below for a long time.
Bro, that just sounds horrible. That just sounds
Yeah.
absolutely
Annoying. Yeah.
horrible.
It was
Like
cold.
below, like
So
below.
that automatically take you out the game for like 3 months,
Hmm.
out of the year versus it not being like that. I think there's a difference in it. But
No, for sure. No, for sure. I think it is hard because they aren't shooting stuff when you have the type of weather, those type of weather. I won't call it restrictions, but I mean,
Yeah, not for
I,
long if they
yeah,
are, you know.
right, right.
Alley cats and penguins outside.
It's-
Outside of that, it's like you're not staying out there too long. They closed school down for, quite a while. It was like 2 weeks basically where they didn't want nobody outside because of how dangerously cold and icy it was.
wow. Yes, man. So so talk to me about kind of what some of the projects that you been working on. I know you've composed for different platforms like NBC, Amazon. So talk to me about some of the stuff you're doing.
That stuff, a lot of that was more past. I'm
Okay.
working on some content for two more networks now that are regular cable networks. Pitching, right? I'm not saying all this is guaranteed. We're pitching, but
Hmm.
we at least have the opportunity. Myself and a couple other grads have an opportunity on the table that will give us some more of those credits and whatnot. But for the most part, since we hit the block the first time on these podcasts, I'm teaching full time now.
Oh,
So between
for, for sure. Yeah.
college, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm at
talk to me about that.
I'm the music program director for the YMCA here in Cincinnati.
Mhm.
They bought a company, absorbed, saved, powered, however you want to say it, a small company that I was volunteering at, and now I'm the program director there. That the Y was pulling away from being just a swimming gym and getting more active in different content, like in a creative space. So they picked us up,
Nice.
them up, and then picked me up along the way. I designed a curriculum for several different classes and courses. Some of my contemporaries and my coworkers design classes and programs to keep kids active, and we're actively working every day to make them the best version of art that they can do. We just coach basically through it, right? It's like I don't want to have to feed you ideas. I want you to come up with the ideas, and I expose you to the things that are viable in the market. So if you're a senior in high school, we came up saying that old phrase, man, if I would have had that when I was 15, if
Yeah,
I'd have had
yeah.
that when I was, now we became the people that facilitate that. So we got a group of young people all the way up through, college that don't have to say if I had that. Now they
Right,
have it.
right.
It's small scale, but we'll grow as time goes on and affect more people and keep the industries running for creative people that come in. I noticed that a lot of young people end up going to college for the arts and they don't really understand what type of work it takes to get there. And in that 4 year time, they don't gain a lot of experience along the way
Hmm.
because the foundation wasn't there. So they spent the first 2 years just learning the foundational part of it, right?
Hmm.
So we want to be that buffer in between. When you're in high school, I want you to get out of high school with a portfolio, not just a resume, but a portfolio of content that you made that you can pitch out and move on from there, whether you want to go to college or you want to start your own thing.
So nice. So with the why, so you're touching kids, but in high school in those programs, right? And then you also
I'm
teach
reaching
that.
kids, not touching kids. We got to
I'm
edit
sorry, my bad.
that out.
Reaching kids,
Yeah,
reaching
from seventh grade all the way up to 12.
right,
12th grade is the ones that we work with.
and then you're teaching at the college level, and so it's two separate kind of it's
Yeah,
two
then I teach. I'm a music professor at Xavier University.
okay, yeah, but that's awesome, man. How's it like? Are you so you're definitely enjoying kind of being like more like I say corporate education space? Because I don't think you probably saw yourself in this space for like probably when we first met.
Nah, not in the classroom. I didn't see myself in the classroom like that. But we have so a big part of what we're able to do, which makes our program really different, is that we actually teach in music studios.
Oh, very
We're
nice.
we the only time we're in the classroom is when we're actively at a school with laptops and headphones and MIDI keyboards showing them something in the school. Our classes are studios.
Oh,
So they
that's
get to
really cool.
learn in that environment of getting your hands on it right then and there,
Oh,
and
that's really
we do a
cool.
lot of music lessons. If you want to learn instruments, you can come and learn instruments, vocal lessons, rap coaching, and the whole nine.
Nice. And so, so are they learning kind of the business side of how to monetize the art? Is there an element of
Yeah,
that? Is there an element of that too?
we touch on that. We glance at it, so to speak, because a lot of them are not 18.
Got you.
So the ones that are 17 going on 18 or 18 and up, those are the ones I say go get you a pro. It's the first thing you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just go sign up for a PRO, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll show you what it looks like to start building your catalog to
Right.
protect yourself, on that side, right?
Right.
Just
Right. Right.
even as just the writer side, the songwriter side, even if you never get a spec of publishing, even if you never get that, the writer side needs to be covered, and
Facts.
people need to see that type of thing in order to understand that you're serious about this, even if it's a part-time job. It's the funnest part-time job you're ever gonna have,
Right. Right.
is
Right.
writing songs in your spare time. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. 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 I love it,
yeah.
man. No, I think it's so important for them to at least know the basics at that level of how to protect themselves and ultimately learn the beginning foundations of how to monetize their art,
Mhm.
their creativity for sure, man. For sure. You know, definitely, man, definitely. So so look, man, take me kind of into your creative process, and we might have touched this on the last episode, but that was such a long time ago compared to now. Like,
Yeah,
so, so
a
talk
lot.
about
AI didn't exist
yeah, yeah,
the
no,
last time that we talked, not
right,
like this, right?
right, right,
So
right.
that, as well as other entities like TrackLib and these sample heavy, loop heavy, companies, a lot of these organizations didn't exist the last time we talked.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now that they're tools, there are more
Hmm.
tools in the toolbox than ever. And I'm utilizing that information along with relationships. And that's been a big part, is like relationships with people that like your work and
Yeah,
and are willing to work with you to help their vision come to life. That that even goes into, being a teacher, right? It's not just about, it's still achieving a goal, a common goal with other people.
right,
I think that touches on what you do, like you said. Like, I'm not coming in trying to change nothing that you're doing. I'm adding on to what you're doing.
right,
And then
right,
we take this walk together.
right,
And then wherever we got to get off at any point in time, that what that's what happens.
right,
So yeah, that my creative process is still trying to create the best experience for the consumer or the client that they want, that they think they want. And that process hasn't changed. The tools have changed quite a bit. I think a lot of the tools have changed, but the process is still, rinse and repeat, work it
right.
out.
No, for sure, man. I think AI has definitely uh forced you to kind of look at the game in a different way now, you know, and embrace what's not going to go anywhere. But it just has to be something you kind of know exists and be able to make it work to your advantage, instead of being
Right.
being a disadvantage. I feel like.
It can do the things, the mundane things that you don't necessarily need to do, that would take you a couple hours to work out. It can help you get started on a more linear path to getting some things done. And I've explored it for that. Not anything creative. I haven't done anything creative AI, and that's just the purest in me doing that. But the business part of it, the legwork, some of the registrations and copyrights, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
know what those forms look like and what to highlight, and it can break those things down for me. So as I'm moving through new spaces, I think it's become a small glimpse into taking that that load off your shoulders, so to speak, in some of those aspects.
No, for sure, man. Like, because I think a lot of in the creative space, especially, there is like a time where you do have to kind of do the mundane, like admin type of work that's required versus the fun stuff, right? So it's about segmenting your time accordingly and taking care of those admin type things that you kind of have to do to monetize whatever it is you're doing. So, I think that's something that's people need to, and producers and creative people need to understand. And, look, because some creative people, they don't do well with any business stuff. They don't like to sell. They don't like to do
Right.
anything. That's just something that they never get used to, but it's so important in my opinion. You know.
Very true. It's absolutely important because you're dotting your T's and crossing your I's, and making sure that those things are done in the right order to make sure that when your bank account needs it, that it's there and
Mhm.
it's not anything holding that up, because life doesn't stop for you. So utilizing tools that can help you be more efficient in that is I see both sides of the coin,
Right.
right? At this point, I see a lot of the young people that I work with just mastering this stuff and having more free time. And at the same time, it doesn't allow them to work their brain as much because they default to an instant gratification of getting something done. The
Right.
work is still getting done, but the intrinsic part of it that they don't that you get from fulfilling things working on your own, they don't necessarily get. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of them care to. I really don't. I don't. I think that they feel like it's overrated, and then I get the older ones that are like, nah, the whole way, right? Like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
just because you reject it and you don't acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not happening.
right. Right.
Doesn't make it go away.
Right.
And if nothing else, you got to watch game film. You got to study your competition, because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, if you're not using it as a tool, it's competition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people that are using AI as a major piece of the creative process for them, and it's like, and they're finding a way to, because I think the problem is the problem that comes into play is like the IP portion of it, like creating like ideas and how to protect those ideas and what and who gets paid because of something that's AI generated. I mean, I think that's the biggest dilemma with what goes on in the AI space in terms of the
Yeah.
create.
Who owns it?
Yeah, versus, but I know there's a lot of artists. Like I was having a conversation earlier today. They were saying like a guy like Ty Dolla Sign, he actually licenses it, excuse me, his his voice to these different AI platforms that allow him to then, to allow him to get work done a lot easier, because he's embraced it completely. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And hey, if it works for him and it's lucrative for him, being the fact that he does have a following well beyond what most people have,
right,
being a featured artist more than most other people have, I think he does have some grace in that. And the only thing that that's going to do for him is honestly is boost his reach to markets that he hasn't hit already.
facts, facts. I love AI. Like obviously in my space and being, I like to use ChatGPT because it helps me to with making agreements and contracts and different things like that. So I mean, I've embraced it. I think it's a good thing. Makes the workflow a lot easier for sure. You know. And I tell people all the time, AI is only as good as what you tell it to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's still only it still has limitations. It's still OpenAI still has a lot of limitations versus you know,
And
I
that's
think
going to change. It's just
yeah.
it hasn't it hasn't been. I do believe that there are people out there that are on the forefront of it
Hmm.
that do have the more advanced versions, like the beta testers, right? And we'll see that in another 6 to 9 months. We'll see the new whatever it is between the AI assistants that we have turning into agents, and then they can do multiple tasks, like they can follow through on what's on your calendar. They're already
Right.
working on that type of stuff. So that's an interesting dynamic.
No,
Um,
for sure, man. I mean, I know in China, and at the time of this recording, there's a lot of things going on domestic globally in terms of the U.S. versus China. But I saw that they are going to be making a requirement to have kids start learning about AI as early as 6 years old. Did you? I don't. Did you? I don't know if you. I don't know if you saw that. It's like because they realize the power of it, And so that I guess for that, and it just shows how how tech advanced they want to
mhm.
be able to create opportunities for young people, as early as that age, at 6, to be diving deep into that space. So I mean, it's wild, man.
I think at this point, from where I'm at,
Hmm.
hasn't this statement has not been endorsed by anybody, sponsored by anybody. I do feel like other countries are having people lean into AI to have a better quality of life outside of work.
Yeah.
I also see currently, and I won't go into detail about
Hmm.
it, not on record. Like
Hmm.
there are people that are using AI to get things done faster, and in a Western society, they're actually piling more work on you to have you do more work. Not saying, "Are
Mm.
you good for the week and you can go home because we're okay." They're just using it to derive more opportunity so you can keep using it and you can get triple the amount of work done, you know, but twice the capacity. That doesn't make sense to me. That part is baffling. It's like, why are you telling me to use tools that are making me more efficient, and then you want to cut my hours because I'm done with work by ain't that what you told me to do?
Yeah, yeah.
And then should I not get paid for completing the work? Right? If we're
Hmm.
doing it based on time, then time and quantity don't go together.
Yeah, that's real. That's true. That is very true.
So I just from where I'm sitting at, it's like I'm seeing that happen, that part of people using it, and it's not lightening the load on what they have to do. It's not shortening their work day. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like we can still go to work 5 days a week. You just ain't gotta go 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You can go 5 hours a day.
Hmm.
And if you're still getting if you're still being productive to the point to where the company is viable in the market. I can't even say thriving because we don't know what that looks like anymore.
Right.
But as long as they're competitive in the market, you should be able to work a 5 hour work day and go home for the rest of the day,
I agree.
5 days a week. If
I
you got the tools to do the job,
I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
And I
what
think.
what did roofing used to be like that before the nailers, before the nail guns, right? When you had to hold it with the hammer.
Hmm.
Like it took how long would it take them to put a roof up? Now they're doing roofs in what, 2 days now?
Yeah.
Because
I
they
mean,
got the tools to do it.
yeah. You got the tool, the technology. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is definitely going to be in the future as we go. I mean, it's crazy. We're in 2020. There was a time in the world people thought the year 2025 was so far out there. And now we're here in 2025, and this is what the world looks like in 2025. So can you imagine what the world's going to look like in another 10, 15 years? Like when your kids are, you know, what building their own lives in a totally different world than you even know. You know what I'm saying? That's part that's a little scary, I think. You know.
I think it's I think it's more than a little scary.
Mm,
However, the unknown has always been the unknown. You
right.
know, we're old enough to remember it when Prince sung about 1999.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
people thought when the clock hit on the 2000s,
yeah, yeah.
microwaves was gonna blow up.
Look, my freshman year of high school was 99 2000. So the Columbine shooting happened in April of 1999, and I started high school August of that year.
Wow.
And so
That
when
had
I
to be a go
yeah,
ahead.
and so I remember when because so at my high school we had a ninth grade center. So we had our high school was ninth to 12th grade. So Columbine just happens in April, and I start school in August. Man, people were going crazy. Like I just we had to have school IDs and all kinds of things happening. you know, but
I that was a very different
it's
time.
very different, right? It's a very
You
different
know,
time. Very
but
different time.
the uncertainty of the unknown is still we're in the next phase of that, right? It's
Yeah,
like now, I don't know. I don't know. And that part is and you can't even think of like here's the crazy thing. The craziest thing is that the consumers don't see it.
yeah, yeah.
They just know it exists and that it's going to develop. The creatives,
hmm
people who create things,
hmm
see limitless possibility.
Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes it can be beneficial, other times it's going to be detrimental,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
based on how that tool is used, right? Like
hmm
you could use a bow and arrow to get food for your family, but you can also use a bow and arrow to neutralize a threat.
Yeah.
It's just if you get my drift, like
No, I get it. I get what you're saying.
so it's just man.
It's wild when you think about it, man. I mean, somebody was saying the other day, you know, that you know that how when they did Star Trek: The Next Generation, cause this was a political show I was watching, and she's one of those people that says that Bill Gates said that he believes that AI is going to take over the main like for instance like in people who go on to school, speaking of education, right, people who go to school to teach in education, like those jobs are going to be taken over by like you know it's going to be taken over by AI, artificial intelligence. That's scary because it's like if you said if you're in college, Bill Gates said within 10 years from now he expects you know AI to really take over spaces like healthcare, education, and what happens with those jobs? What happens with those people that's what they did for so long or what
Mm-hmm.
they want to do, and now those jobs are being taken over by a computer who is efficient, who can do things, because when you have those type of you have
That
computers
don't clock out.
that don't clock out, right? It is kind of scary when you think about it. And her whole thing was, he says she feels like America should have a universal healthcare system because it's going to look different because those people who did those type of jobs are not going to be able to have those type of jobs anymore because AI is going to take over those jobs. And if I'm a business, if you're a business, of course they're going to go with the more efficient, whatever's more efficiently going to get the job done. So that is very scary because before there wasn't a timeline on it, but now there is. Like people, when Bill
Mm.
Gates is saying he sees it, that's not that long away. That's not that far away. It's scary to think like what the world is going to look like. As great as technology is, what's going to be the need for humans to do certain things? Now there are certain things I think, especially in music, that the human element can't just be replaced by a computer. Take the emotion, but other parts of everyday life, it is scary to think that those jobs may no longer exist. I mean, going back to college, like my mom, her college, she wanted to be a nurse, right? But she went to college back in the '80s and her degree was secretarial science, bro. Like, I mean, that's stuff that they were. She was going to college to become a secretary, back then. She ended up going into the construction space for a while, and then life happened, and she unfortunately went to prison for a long time, for quite a bit. She's out now, and now she's near retirement age, and she's working. Like, thankfully, she's able to work in a call center. But to think about like the type of opportunities that may or may not be here in 10 years from now,
Oh yeah.
what I'm saying? That is really, really scary to think about because
I
how is
was a
that?
part of the manufacturing industry when automation started to take over.
Mm,
That's what led me to healthcare
mm,
was automation into factories. Like when they started getting tracks and barcodes and forklifts had cameras on them, the
mm,
forklifts could go move that stuff by themselves. They didn't need a human to drive it once
right.
they got that part done, right? Like that's one of those things. And then it took 5 people to do a job of what 2 robots were hired to do. And that's 5 people. That's 5 people in total per 3 shifts a day, six
Mm,
days a week. So
mm,
you needed that many people to be in this one position to, stamp something and then turn it and then paint it. Stamp, turn, paint. Stamp, just as an example. And
hmm.
now you got a robot that's doing, you know,
Yeah.
10 times as many and it doesn't need time off. It's
Right.
there on the weekends. It doesn't go to the bathroom. It
and it
doesn't get a
and it,
30-minute lunch.
and it's scary because we don't think about those things and even how that could to affect the things or what Full Sail's going to teach and
Yeah.
it's scary because for a long time we didn't have to think about these things, but it is here and it's only going to
Mhm.
get these robots are going to become more and more efficient and more accurate than that they're already doing, and it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs.
I think we don't want to see the redundancy in patterns and what makes us similar
Hmm.
as humans, right?
Yeah.
And they do. So we want to think that we're all different. Like, no, you're not so different because you got 2 hands, and which hand you eat, you put a fork in, and the
Hmm.
other hand you put the knife in to cut food up, right?
Hmm.
You only got 2 options.
And what's scary, bro? And what's scary? You think about it, right? Like what happens when they can in health back to healthcare, where they can get a robot to do a surgery efficiently,
Oh yeah.
and it's like I mean, you're gonna have robots start doing these surgeries and these major operations. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and and they've been filming it for years.
Hmm.
So think about the what do they call that training
Hmm.
that they've been feeding these systems. If you've seen a video of every laparoscopic surgery that's been done since 1985 and that's a part of a database, you're making smarter decisions because you're not a doctor that did though every last one of those. The doctor that did every last one of those, he's going to have enough experience to 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 see the commonality in them and be more efficient at it. But
Hmm.
when you get a robot to give you everyone from around the world
Yeah,
and to make adjustments on the fly for that,
and
man,
that is going to be very, very scary, very, very
expensive.
expensive, expensive. Yeah, man. No, but that is, I mean, that is really interesting because when I was watching this episode for this particular woman, who goes heavy on the politics, and I don't really try to get political on this podcast because everything is so divided in this country right now. Look, I did vote Republican for the first time. I don't, and don't think I would ever probably ever vote Democrat ever again. But I won't, I won't go too deep into, just me personally. I just think that, you know, I just think it's wild. So this particular lady I was watching, I've been watching her show on YouTube for a while because there's a lot. You see, there's a lot of these independent podcasters now that you kind of have
Yeah.
to pay attention to because unfortunately, bro, the mainstream media, you
Has
can't
an
really
agenda.
you can't trust them anymore, man.
Uh,
You can't trust anything the mainstream media is saying. So you kind of have no choice but to listen to some of these. Look, I'm all about, look, just call it straight, call it fair, call it straight on both sides. That's why I respect people like a Megan Kelly, because she, and the new media is, they tell you they're biased. They're like, yeah, I'm leaning a certain way, but at least their listeners know that. The problem they have is when you try to pretend like you don't have an agenda, you don't have a bias in the room, when you want to try to pretend like you're keeping it neutral, and like, no, it's clear that that some of these mainstream media, but they lean very left.
and I don't have a problem with that either way.
Hmm.
As long as, like you said, as long as you're delivering factual information,
Yeah.
right? And even in that factual information, me personally, just like anything else, like I'm consuming an album or a movie,
Okay.
my experience in consuming the same, let's use the Falcon Captain America movie.
Okay.
There's mixed reviews on that.
Yeah.
A lot of mixed reviews on it. And I feel like personally, since I watched the TV show that led up to that, it felt like a continuation of the TV show.
Okay.
That's my experience watching the same content, right? Anybody else's can be different based upon their geographical location, what their needs are in their personal life, who they have to take care of, and what their age is.
Right.
I can't hold you for trying to do what's best for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do believe in, flat out, I do believe in the phrase do no harm, because some things that we live in an outrage culture. Somebody wants to be outraged about anything you said, no matter what it is. Like,
Right.
your hat is too red, your shirt is too blue.
Right. Right. Right.
You're gonna have those people, right?
Hmm.
However, the other part is like the sensible people that are out there is like, I'm not trying to do harm by gaining things that my family needs or that's on my agenda.
Hmm.
If I do feel like I have to railroad somebody or run or throw somebody in front of the bus, however you want to say it,
Hmm.
I have to gauge what that is, if that's real in the first place, or if it's just a distraction or deterrent from where I'm supposed to be. If you're on
Hmm.
the opposition to that, I gotta treat it like we in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
If you win, you win.
Hmm.
It If
Hmm.
you don't, you don't. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much we think we can control, the human factor can never be accounted for. It can change at the blink of an eye.
That's true.
You know,
That's very true. That is very true.
so holding on to stuff, shout out Angie Stone.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, nobody saw that coming at all.
That
Like,
was, I mean, that was so sad. I mean, if you go back to that situation, I mean, she's in a Sprinter van all the way to the next show, right? And how is it that, okay, there's nine people apparently in the van, and she's the only one that passes?
yeah.
Like, I just, it's just so sad, man, because it's like these people, they do what they love to do. Look, she loves to tour. And she's living her
Mhm.
life. She's living the dream still at her age, and at
And
61, at 60, it's just sad because it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like my
and
heart is just like, wow.
all the speculation we can make about that,
Hmm.
it just changed everything for that dynamic in the blink of an eye.
Hmm.
And then we, also things get put into perspective when they hit your front porch.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
And we're dealing with a lot of people in the US that these things have never hit their front porch.
Hmm.
Therefore, they don't have a sensitivity towards it. They don't even, they're inexperienced. It's
Hmm.
weaponized ignorance.
Hmm.
And that's just that's just my personal take on it. It's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Hmm.
There's a give and take, there's a compromise, and if you work towards what you need to work towards, and still have the policy of do no harm. We have too many people in power and in positions of authority and
Hmm.
just outrageous amounts of money that don't live by do no harm. They
Right. Yes, true.
We can get further without that. We
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about the teaching kids at 6 years old about AI, right?
And that's what they're doing in China. In China now, like they're trying to basically set those kids up for an advantage, to be able to compete. You also got to realize too, right? China is way more technology advanced right now than we've ever been. They've always been ahead of
Well,
us.
they
But
have less distraction too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We distraction is on the forefront in the palm of your hand 7 days a week.
Oh
My,
yeah.
my point in saying they're doing that is like another thing I heard that Florida is trying to do
Hmm.
is let kids get a work permit at 14 and be able to work second or third shift on a school night.
No, that's not good. That's not
That
good.
shouldn't even be on the table.
That's not. That's being done in a red state. I didn't even hear
In
about that in a red
Florida.
state.
Yep, in
I
Florida is trying
I,
to get
I
is trying to
gotta
lower the working age.
I gotta look into that because I'm surprised that there's people that actually want that to happen. You know, you know.
It struck me as weird. Like, why you want kids to work at 14?
Yeah, and what are they
It's,
gonna what are they gonna do at that age except work at
back in the day, lemonade stand paper route was like
exactly
a casual thing that you chose to do, not like I'm about to
for
go, you
for
know,
for a little bit of pocket change. Really, they were like at that
yeah,
age. I mean, you
it's
you
for
don't
your
have.
summer money.
You don't have any, yeah, you ain't paying bills with that. You know what I'm saying? And any parent who's asking their kid for that type of money at 14 I think I have a problem. I'm not a parent, but I'm just like, if you asking your 14-year-old who at that age should just be worried about you know, kid stuff. If they're into, you know, certain things, if it's like certain, if you sort of like girls or boys, whatever you say, oh, he's cute, or you might want to get a fresh pair of sneakers, but if you having to worry about paying bill money at that age to work second and third shift, to me, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
So I just used our friend AI, right? To
Right.
ask. It's 14 now. However, there are exceptions to the rules, such as minors working in their non-parents hazardous businesses, those delivering newspapers allowed at the age 10. So you can get a paper route at the age of 10, and you can get a tax ID at the age of 10. Those working in the entertainment industry, there are other restrictions on the hours and days that minors can work, especially when school is in session.
Hmm.
That's the thing that they're saying.
Okay. Well, I know, I mean, being in the art industry, right? You know, and it's funny because we were just having this conversation earlier today and this one guy was saying, his name is PA, he actually works at Full Sail, but he was saying that he thinks that he's not a big fan of kids at a certain age even being in the entertainment business because it's such a grown-up industry, even at that age. I mean,
Yeah.
Jaleel White talks about it. It's like, look, he got to a certain level where he's making more. And his dad was a dentist, I think, in California, and Family Matters was only supposed to be a couple episode gig, I think. That wasn't necessarily supposed to turn into. He wasn't turned into what it ended up turning into, but.
Phenomenon.
Right, but it's like
Yeah.
you then become a lot of those child they become the breadwinners of their families at 12 and 13 years old. They're making the most money, so
Mhm.
you live in a warped reality. And he said, I heard him say, well, thankfully his parents really kept him grounded at that age. No, you're gonna come home. Look, you might be a celebrity outside of here, but you come home at that age, you gonna still
Right.
wash the dishes, take out the
Right.
trash, that type of deal. They try to keep some sense of normalcy in his life. I'm sure he's thankful for it now because I mean,
Right.
you know, yeah, that
Because
was
the ones that didn't, you end up like
And
you know.
we see it all the time, and we see these child actors and entertainers, and I mean, and I'm not necessarily against being young in the business, but you just have to have you got to be very wise and in making sure that your kid is doing things the right way. I mean, shout out to Jason Weaver. He talks about that he's thankful that his mom knew the business
Oh yeah,
because he was
he
talking
had the
about
best deal ever.
yeah, when he was talking about what he was doing when he sang Lion King for Simba, he said, and so what he did was, I believe, because they wanted to just give him a flat out fee and him be done. He said, nah, it's like I will take less now, but I want to have those. I want to have that
Percentage.
residual right
Yep.
forever, basically forever. So he's still getting a check from that from
Oh yeah.
something he did in 1995
As a
as a
kid,
kid, and he's
crazy royalty.
he's probably close to you guys are probably around the same age. You know what I'm saying? I think he's born in '79. You might be a couple years older. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I mean, he's still able to get paid from that even to now. But he's thankful that his mom had already had some industry
He
experiences,
worked the deal.
and
Yeah.
she was already in the business. So, you know, and see, and even you took people like Brandy's mom or like Usher's mom, where they quit their jobs to learn the business of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure their kids are thankful for it because most stage parents don't actually learn the business. You know what I'm
Honey
saying?
boo boo.
And right, and it's all emotion and no business. As they say, you can't make business decisions off of emotion, right? Or based out of emotion. So
hmm
yeah, I feel
And
you
then, those some of those uneducated family members, they turn into dependents.
for sure.
And that's it. They're like, you're gonna continue to do what you do, and you're gonna continue to feed whatever dream or whatever
Mhm.
I have going on because I did this for you up until this point, but that's
Right.
what you were supposed to do.
And we see that happen a lot in professional sports because
Yeah.
you know these 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 athletes become very successful, and look, it's happening in the NIL era now because you have kids in college being able to afford to be able to buy. Travis Hunter's not even in the NFL yet, and he can already afford to retire his mom.
Yeah.
Retire his. They can afford to do that in college at 20 years old, at 21 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's something
They're
else.
making a type of money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is. We live in a different time now. And it's scary though, and it's very scary because you're giving these kids a shit ton of money, and they're not really prepared on how to handle that, and
Look,
yeah,
I'm looking at it from a vantage point as well. There's a lot of kids that they're feeding out to that football field. There's a lot of kids that
yes,
they feed.
yes, they are.
I'm in the high schools every week, right?
Okay,
So
okay, yeah,
I'm seeing the ones in track and basketball and so forth, and it's a lot of them. And
mm,
I'm not gonna bust y'all bubble, but not all of y'all gonna make it.
right. That's true. That's
But
real thought.
and
That's real
and
thought.
I wish they would harp on the academic aspect of what a plan B looks like,
Mhm.
or how to use sports to pay for your college for free,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
get your academics together.
yeah,
They know these kids. There's some boys out here bigger than me. There's some boys bigger than Tremaine out
yeah,
here at
yeah,
17, 18. And the
yeah.
first thing they want to do is put a basketball or football in their hand. And
Right.
these kids can't read, count, color, nothing. And
That's
but just
that's so
from
true.
stature, they see them as a meal ticket.
It's very sad.
Michael, I got a question for you, real quick. Like,
Go
how
ahead. Go ahead.
do you think that as we're going through this transition of tools changing and abilities and people being, where they are so siloed individually, do you feel like that it's moving at the same pace that it was a while ago, or do you feel like that pace is actually accelerating?
I think it's accelerating because I mean it's just different now. I mean, going back into like I said, you know, into sports mostly. I think if we try to put it back to music, I mean, the thing with in the music in hip space is like this is still a very, very expensive. industry to be successful. You're
to
probably
sustain.
yeah, you're probably going to be easier to sustain in an athletic space because it's a little bit more predictable. Still very difficult, but like you said, most of these kids will not. No, seriously. Look, because when I was a team manager for my high school team back in the early 2000s, right? Like, and my coach at the time, he used to always say this stat. He was saying this back in 2000, back in like 2002. He said, you take 100 high school seniors, no matter what sport they play, 0.08 would go on to play college athletics. Out of that 0.08, he said 0.01 would go on to play pro. And he was saying this back then, 23, 24, 25 years ago. And it still holds true now. I mean, hell, you got guys that are playing, and this is why, going back to sports, this is why University of Houston was able to beat because you got guys in their fifth or sixth or seventh year of like you are a grown man playing against kids. I mean, if you're
Against a
24,
19 year
if you're
old. You're like
24, you're
27.
supposed to beat them. If you're 24, 25, and that's why I think the transfer portal is really and the NIL unfortunately gives kids this false sense of oh like no, you look you gotta go get a job, bro. Like you're done. Like you see, if you haven't made it by 26, still having these you probably need to go think about doing something else because I mean it's becoming ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm a
It don't take
coach,
that long,
no,
huh?
because no, but you got to think about it from the coach's perspective. Of course, if I'm a coach, because who it really messes up is these high school recruits. You say because they're not getting looks. Because if I'm a college coach and my job is to win games, right? Well, I'm gonna take the older, more uh battle tested guy that's been around in this fifth or sixth year, you
Mm.
know, versus taking a high school a college freshman that's 19 versus someone I can take someone that's 24 that I know's been through the battles that can win. Yeah, it's definitely messing it up for the high school recruits because coaches just don't want to take young players anymore. So yeah, it's definitely
Kind of accelerating the
definitely,
process.
because like you said, some of these kids is they ain't good enough. Just like with me, just like with in music, like bro, everybody ain't meant to be a superstar, bro. Everybody's not gonna be a superstar.
You've been
And
saying that for years.
no, it's true, bro. Everybody's not meant to
Sure.
be. It's I know people hate, you know, because I think the term creating super, yeah, the major labels do it, but it's like because they have the capital to do it, but most artists will never achieve that, you know. But you can be successful by just again finding your audience and serving them, and your age don't even matter no more. Like age doesn't even matter anymore at all. Like
You
if
can
you,
still be successful without
yeah,
being famous.
exactly,
What you're not chasing success, you're chasing fame at
yeah,
that point, right? Like,
and fame is fleeting, bro.
especially today.
Yeah, it's fleeting.
You know,
You know.
you're one viral video away from somebody taking your shine. Like
Hmm.
the kid that, can I pet that dog?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
hide your kids, hide your wife. It didn't matter what else was going on in the world.
Hmm.
Those things dominate. Look at Not Like Us.
Yeah.
It dom you didn't I'm not putting no new music out. They're
Mm.
not done playing that song yet.
Right, 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 right. No, that's real
And
talk.
then he came back to back with another one. That was like, it didn't matter what you did at that point in time. The culture of the
Hmm.
world
Hmm.
in entertainment was pointed towards the Super Bowl, was
Yeah.
pointed towards the halftime show, was pointed towards whatever that was.
Hmm.
I don't care what genre I'm in. I'm not paying attention. I'm not dropping anything until that cools down.
Right, right. That's real. That's real, man. I think it's definitely crazy now. I mean, it's definitely Yeah, I still think it's in the. I think it's still a really good time to be in the industry if you understand what the rules are, how to play. If you understand how to do what it is that you're doing, how to leverage, social media, how to leverage. And I'll say this too, though. I think people want to hear real records again, bro. I think real records are
Yeah.
people wanted to hear because
Shout out Dochi.
yeah, because right, she proved that people want to hear because in the era, look, I call it pussy rap. You know what I'm saying? I call it no, that's what I call it. It's what it is. You have Ruby Rose. What else do you have? Lotto, Cardi B, Flo Milli. And Flo, and Flo Milli can actually rap. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is the era of girls who are former strippers or want to be whatever, want to try to rap. Because, unfortunately, bro, music has become a hustle now, dog. It's no, it's
Mm.
Chris. You from an era where this shit was a craft. It was a
Oh yeah.
it was a craft, and I don't think it's I don't think for a lot of people coming up anymore that this is a craft anymore. This is like a drug. It's like the drug game. Like I'm trying to get a quick lick
Well,
and get out of here.
Ninth Wonder touched on this not too long ago. He
Yeah.
says the difference between them and us was that they don't want careers at this anymore.
No.
They want to get hot and go viral, and then they're done with it. Been there, done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
still trying to be like, yo, I need a 401k making, doing
No.
what I want to do.
No. That's real talk. That's real talk.
That's it boxes up what you just said, like in a
Yeah.
nutshell, just to
Yeah.
be like, yo, they don't want that part. And
They don't want the grind. They don't want the grind of it. They don't want the the hours, the 10,000 hours of the grind of it, right? And the craft of it. And it's really become a hustle. And you have people who really truly have no business being in the game. Neo, let me see if I can pull it up while we're talking about it. The short Neo talked about where like when he was coming up in the game, like this was the music was a uh it was a very unique club to be in.
yeah, it was elite. It was
Uh,
you I remember vividly, like you had to have these machines. You had to have an 808, you had to have
mhm.
an MPC, you had to have, a tabletop recorder, you had to have a you now you got your phone in your pocket, and your
Yeah,
phone is doing band lab
yeah,
and garage band and so forth, and they can get things done. And these are all handy tools to have, but you're sidestepping a lot of the things that makes, craft beer versus Bud Light. The
hey,
time that it takes to do that, to make a great batch of something, a IPA that's really unique to your region and so forth versus a Bud Light. Like they
exactly.
want to
Look,
drink Bud Light.
I found it. He says it. I'll play it right here. He said,
Okay.
Make some noise for Neo!
actually, Danny, it's a full. I want the
That's the
short.
full one.
It's a short. I wanted to get the short part of where
Yeah, I
he.
saw that. It looked like it had the
Yeah,
short
look,
up.
Music
it
and the
is.
music industry used to be like this small
I don't think we can. I don't think we can hear that. Can you hear that?
I can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can hear. We'll just play it for the audio. But yeah,
elite club where you had to be good at what you did in order to be in this club. Like you couldn't get in here if you didn't know how to sing on key. Couldn't get in here if you didn't know how to really play an instrument. Couldn't get in here if you really didn't know how to mix records together.
Yeah.
Now you push a button and anybody can do it. So the club is not elite anymore. Anybody can come in now.
Like, yeah.
And that cheapens the value of it. You know what I mean? It's like I spent years in blood, sweat, and tears learning how to sing on key and dance at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, it don't even matter. They put autotune on your microphone at your show.
Yeah.
There's autotune on the microphone. Like, come on, man. Music.
yeah, that is so true, man. I mean, that's so I said it's become a hustle. It's not. It's no longer a craft. We were having this conversation earlier at an event that I was at, and we're talking about a whole artist development, and people think that artist development is dead. I don't think it's necessarily dead. I just think that young people just don't want to go through the process of artist development like the way Troy Taylor does it, where like it's real artist development, like because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because that takes in the sense of how we remember it being done, that's like a 2 year process minimum, bro, of like
Yeah.
going through it,
Minimum.
going through like they used to teach media training and dancing and being able to, you know, hit certain steps. And there used to be a time where an artist would get signed to a label and you wouldn't see that artist for 2 years, before. And not only they had been developed for two, like Chris Brown, he'd been developed for 2 years before we ever heard of Chris
Yeah.
Brown. You
Yep.
know, he's one of
Sharpening their sword. Yeah.
yeah, he's one of the few that had came through the old industry, the old space, which is why to
Hmm.
me he's an icon. He's not just Chris Brown is he's an icon. He's literally
Hmm.
one of the best to ever do it. An
I mean,
icon.
you got, every generation has an icon of some sort.
Hmm.
Longevity, superstar. The difference between the superstar and an icon is that icon has longevity at being a superstar,
Facts. I think
and
that's a great way to put it.
he's been around for a very long time at a very high level.
And he's kind of the
And
bridge between the old industry and what we see now, right? Him being a
I
millennial.
I hope he's teaching that,
Yeah,
the value of that. Like if you can see him, you should see the value in that, and
right.
not just feel like, oh well, as long as I blow up on TikTok, I'm good. As long as I blow up on Instagram, I'm good. That's not necessarily the way to longevity, because like I said, you one viral video away from being irrelevant again.
Exactly.
And
And you think about it, bro. Think about the pandemic. All those artists that got quote unquote signed during the pandemic. Chris, where are those artists now? They're gone. They're no longer there because their goal was never to be artists. They're influ. They made content, right? Okay. I would like to say this, right? You have content creators who are simply that, content creators,
Mhm,
versus you have artists who have to focus on content as part of their strategy
mhm,
to build. But what was happening to build a fan base, right? But what was happening is these labels, because again, they want to sign people who have crazy numbers. But
mhm.
those artists who have crazy numbers, their goal is never to be an artist. So that's why they don't have that natural ability to command the stage, because that's not what they're there to do. They make content on their phones, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
not. And so I
Short
think,
form content.
yeah,
Like you got a minute 30 of great content. That's a big difference than putting on a 2 hour show.
exactly, exactly. And I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of the labels what they did during the pandemic, and also too, bro. The truth of the matter, this shit's rigged, bro. The labels have back end deals with Spotify. It's rigged, bro. Like
Mhm.
they've typed. This is why you see the Spotify royalty rates being lower than like getting paid as much money, because they've already rigged the game, bro. The
Stay
record,
independent.
the major labels have rigged the game when it comes to streaming. You're not
Listen
going
to
to,
Durell.
no,
Just
you're just the key these days, bro, is really simple. You gotta be able to go direct to your audience. That's the only real way to sustain yourself, is being have the ability to go direct, because
resonate with an audience and build it
yeah,
organic.
it's the only, I mean it's the only really way to touch the people. So I said, if you understand, if you it's the biggest thing too, bro, is having data and information. I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of artists don't realize their power. Like, okay, if you go out and perform at a show, that show's not over till you get off the stage and you shake every hand you can and introduce yourself to every.
Sign every
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. If it's a room of 50 people, then you need to make sure you've run and introduced yourself to every single person and
Yeah.
gotten their information, because that's the only way you'll be able to. You got to be able to have the data to show people, no, I can put
From
people in.
city to city.
I can put people in the room, right? And I know who these people are. I know who they are. I know how to get a hold of them. I think that's where a lot of artists, they have great social numbers, but they don't necessarily migrate those people off social media into a space that they own, right? Into a CRM, right? Which is a
Right.
customer relationship manager, right? There's a bunch of different ones out there, but if you're an artist, you just got to find the one that you enjoy working using. But it's just really data and information. I think that the artists who are successfully doing it well successfully, they understand the power of that and knowing who they're and being able to leverage their audience and
Yeah.
creating opportunities for themselves.
Facts.
Even as a producer, right? Like how producers can make a living out producer pack. I talk about as like unknown. You don't. I'm not talking about you being super massively a big. It's like, but you can make a living doing producer packs and all these different things that Chris that you create. The Mr. Watt pack. You can literally create a Mr. Watt pack, which I don't know you probably already done this or think about doing this already.
Hmm.
It's creating something that's uniquely yours, branding yourself online about it. People will if it's good, people will purchase it. If you
If it
yeah.
fits their agenda, if it fits, their style and feel, that's a lot of um it things just matching. Things just it's weird to say, but it's always like a relationship. It's
Mhm.
always what's going to fit what you need at that point in time. So
Right,
absolutely.
right, right.
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you for the night. We got to get ready to wrap.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
get up and do some stuff in the morning, man. I thank you for spending the block with me again.
for sure, man. This is a whole lot of fun, man. I'm glad, and I'm looking forward to coming back on your platform soon.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna boot it back up once the semester gets over. That's another thing. Like my time is, whew, it's hard to come by teaching in two different capacities
no, but
right
no,
now.
but you're doing the things you love to. But I love it that you're doing the things you love to do, and I think you get a chance to be around creativity pretty much all day, every day. I mean, so not much else. I'm sure
Yeah,
you could.
I'm
I'm not sure much else you
thankful.
could ask for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
thankful.
and being able to
I do
take
want
care.
to get back to the pod, but I'm thankful to be able to do,
Yeah,
to provide for my family
definitely doing
doing
what you love to do.
right,
Then,
right.
like you said earlier, you're not in LA. You're not in the traditional creative spaces that you would normally be. You find a way to work it out where you can be in the space you're in and still be around and do the. Like I said, that's why I said success sometimes looks. You didn't see yourself doing this 4 or 5 years ago,
No,
and to see where things have taken you to, just a testament of you doing the things, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and letting the universe work it out. Whatever you
yep.
believe in, give you these opportunities. And I believe when you're walking in your purpose, that's what the whole Encourage and Inspire brand is all about. When you're walking into your purpose, man, in your purpose, no matter how hard life gets, it will always work out for the better because you're doing the things you love to do. I truly
Hmm.
believe that. Truly believe that. Guys, well, look, this has been another great episode of the Encourage Inspire podcast. My man, Mr. Watt, has come back and blessed us, man, and this will not be the last time we will be bringing him back again because, we can go for hours and hours, just have a good conversation. But until next time, I'm out here. Oh, before we let you go, how can they find you? How can they connect to you? You know,
VisionHouseStudios.com is the website. VisionHouseStudios.com is where you can find all of my content, and it'll lead you to the socials and all of that. I'm the real Mr. Watt at all the socials out there because I have to do that. And yeah, that's it.
cool guys. Well, I just want to make sure he can do that, man. Until next time, I'm out here. It's Durell Peart. Peace.
Peace.